So, it is a fantastic Monday, as it always is, and Hope is speaking. Hope is here. I am here live in my mother's garden in the backyard, poolside. Thankful, grateful to be here with my parents and to be enjoying this experience in the best way that I can. And just let me know, because this is the first time I'm using this mic. Anyone who's in the live, let me know with a thumbs up or a microphone that I can be heard, because to the best of my knowledge, I know I can be heard. However, it is helpful when someone in the chat or in the live throws me the thumb sign or a peace sign or a microphone sign or the swimming person sign. That would ensure that I can be heard. Thank you for liking the live and share the live. Again, to ensure that I can be heard, due to this is the first time I'm using my microphone, in the chat, send me a thumbs up, send me the person swimming because I'm sitting next to the pool. Send that the phone overheated. So anyone who's still here, this is fantastic. I had to run inside and rearrange. Uh, Yet, you make it work. We make it work. So, again, I had asked, because this is the first time that I've ever used the microphone. Oh, it appears to be working. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Sandy. And thank you for the people that stayed around. Let me change that. Okay, because my mom was like, girl. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, so Ruben, it hasn't taken place yet. I'm still in writing mode. It's not on until October 7th. So you will be with me the whole way, Ruben. We have a little under 2 months. So it hasn't occurred yet. It is still occurring. I'm still making incremental steps. And I will share more because I love to read, and I'm constantly picking up new books to read. And when I went to the library, I saw this book that was intriguing. Okay? And it is called Creators by Paul Johnson. And I enjoy reading words of inspiration, and especially of other leaders, creators, people. I like hearing about people's stories, especially individuals that made their mark in some way, whether it was someone that created an element of art or something known locally. I find fulfillment in reading these stories. So, this story has a lot of essays from notable artists, and I bookmarked 14. I'm actually going to read it now. Why not? I love reading. And when I was in elementary school, I was that kid that like rose my hand, like, oh, yeah, do you want to read? Yes, of course. I want to read. Can I read? So I do enjoy reading out loud. And when I'm reading, I often will find the same text. Thank you for liking the live. I'll find the same text or the book on YouTube and listen to it. So as I'm actually reading the book, I'm listening to the book. I believe it does something with how the human brain processes the information. For me, it's just me receiving the information in two different ways. I'm physically reading it, and then I'm listening to it at the same time. I don't know if that adds anything to my reading comprehension. However, Maybe it does. And I'm going to read this and then we'll talk about this. But this is an essay about Picasso and Walt Disney. Yeah. Okay, Daily Cleanse with Celeste. I'll definitely check that out. Thank you, Ruben. I appreciate that. Thank you. I knew I liked something about you, Ruben. So, Picasso and Walt Disney, Room for Nature in the Modern World. It's a question to be asked because I am the happiest. Excellent. I just did a screenshot, so after this, I'll go check it out. Thank you for the referral, Ruben. I love being outside. Matter of fact, when I was in LA last week, which is somewhat, it's not a second home, but it's somewhere that I am familiar. LA, I'm familiar because my father was born and raised in LA. So, and this isn't a filter. I'm like in front of a window, so those are the blinds. Just so everyone knows, it's beautiful actually. However, my was born and raised in LA and San Bernardino Valley. Therefore, many holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving. I remember spending time at my uncle's house in Altadena, my grandmother who lived in Los Angeles proper, my great-grandmother. Hey, how you doing, Mag? Good to see you, good to see you, good to see you. The sunshine is still cascading my face so radiantly, and I'm always happy you're here. You are one of my mods. And if we see anything that isn't for the hopeful way of being, you're out of here. So, LA, since I was a child, was somewhat familiar. Gracias. Although I'm from Central California. And my father would always revel at saying, I never want to be back in LA. So that's my background in LA. And then when I was really hot to trot between like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, me and one of my girlfriends would always go there. And thank you for sharing the live, Mag. We would go on Sunset in Hollywood, and this was back like when the MTV Music Awards was big. As well as the MTV Movie Awards in like the early 2000s. And I'm the talker, so we would meet someone who would say, oh, come with us here. And that was my time in LA then. And then as a flight attendant, I would fly a lot of LA when I was based out of London. So I have a whole kind of life story in LA. And I've done some modeling there. However, it wasn't really a place that I had ever saw myself. There was a time where I thought, ooh, I want to move to LA. But it's just LA. It's not, to me, it's not that great. And I remember always going, because there's a picture I'm at my parents' home, in their hallway, and it's me in the JW Marriott in downtown LA, probably early 90s, with my Cabbage Patch. I was so happy. I was just so happy. However, what I found out, and this goes back to the Picasso and Walt Disney Room for Nature in a Modern World. I love being outside. That is my happiest space. And while I was in LA, I hiked. I went hiking. I hiked to the Hollywood sign. However, it was really cool because I referenced a creator here on TikTok because I had never done any of that stuff. I was usually with family, and so I just craved a hike. There's nothing better than a hike, which is just walking. Hiking is just walking. It's just what nature people say to, like, not, you're walking. There's no difference in hiking than like a mall walker or someone who just walks around the block. You're walking. Now, what you're surrounded by is different, and that's what I love about that. That's what I love about hiking. I love the smell of the trees or the nature in some way. So when I took this hike to the Hollywood sign, it allowed a little bit of nature and uh, and a lot of architecture. I love mid-century modern homes. I love them. I know exactly what I like. I like either very modern or mid-century modern. Anyway, during this hike, what I realized is I appreciated the hike. I appreciate an uphill walk. Anything with extreme hills, anything with the extreme incline, I love just because most people aren't going to do it. So that challenge, yay! Self Queen ASMR sent me a solar system. I sent you an invite. I would love, we got to come on here and talk because please, not even please, go check out Self Care Queen ASMR. We finally came into each other's realities. We've known each other in other realities, but finally, our two realities, they converged while we were at the TikTok building on Thursday. It seems like time is just gone. And yes, and she's a fellow Sag and a fellow creator and another human being who said yes to themselves. And we shared that because oftentimes there's someone that's watching me right now and may feel something, some discomfort, because I have said yes to what you continue to say no to. And I know, because I've been there. And the difference in saying yes, the difference in saying yes to yourself and disregarding the opinion of, which is always made up, of how others may see you. Fearing that there will be ridicule when you show up as yourself. Fearing that there will be some sort of judgment, which maybe comes from wherever it comes from. But the power of saying, I know all of that, and I'm still going. I'm worthy of trying. I have what it takes. I'm betting on me. And connecting through that conversation to know that we are never the only ones experiencing what we're feeling, and also experiencing that, hi, dude named Dave, great afternoon, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Just the sure courage to say yes to yourself by saying no to your disbelief in me, or no to your limitations being your barrier. And as I spoke to my niece, this reminds me of when I was speaking to Self Care Queen ASMR. My niece is in her early 20s and she's a fantastic dancer and she's professional and she practices 4 times a week. I said, see, this is the difference. If you're an artist or a creator of some sort, a person who chooses not to create to that capacity won't understand. They won't understand that if you are a professional dancer, half of your life is going into your art. So she was explaining, it was a 10-week rehearsal. We rehearsed 4 times a week. There was a nutritionist. And I said, yeah, that's the beauty of elevating to that level. Because there's the level of we just practice on the weekends. No, this is what I want. I like doing this. I'm going to take this as far as I know I can take it. And bringing up that expectation of yourself with the expectation that you know what you are doing, even through discomfort. And that means something to feel like someone may share a similar experience. Sometimes it just brings the element of being a human into a nicer form, because I had told someone, you're too hard on yourselves. We're doing the best that we can. No one knows. And I can say that because I know I've done a lot of stuff. I've lived a very colorful life. That's what I say. And I'm still here. So, so whatever you fear, you have the solution. There's just go. And a lot of y'all are talking to, there's also this. Sometimes people who are advising you have never done it. They don't know what they're talking about. How would they know? But that's up to us, you as a person, understanding discernment and knowing who to tune in and who to tune out. Because some people are idiots. It is. But sometimes you just don't know. And so if an individual is advising you against something that, in my niece's instance, she's loved dancing. If someone had never done that, hi, Maya, how are you? They won't understand it. But if you don't understand their lack of understanding, you may actually take that information as worthy information. That's not worthy information. Someone who's never even tried to do something on their own. That's like asking a person to decorate your house who's never moved outside their family's home. What's up, Michelle? What up, what up, what up, what up? Oh, I see all my peoples are up in here. What's up, what's up? And I got two hands. That's cool. So, know who to listen to. And really, that's you. Listen to you. As I say, most people know how to handle life. You don't always have to assist them unless they ask. And then ask yourself, do I even have the capacity to aid in this person? Because if you're crazy, I don't have the capacity. I don't. And I will tell you, I'm not available for this. Okay? I've told people in the most compassionate way, your nonsense has nothing to do with me. And no to that. Okay? I see why sometimes people repeat certain lessons. However, that's not for me to sort out. Everyone's on their own path. So, where was I? Yes, so me and Self-Care Queen also talked about, and I talked to my mom about this, because this is a really, this position of power and empowerment that comes, I believe I've always had it. However, with every year, it becomes more fulfilled. And the beauty in maturity and the beauty in what you would label age and the beauty of being able to say, yeah, I've lived through some things. I can share some things. I'm here to aid. I've gone through that, and because I can have compassion. From what I've found, just that. And the beauty of being in my 40th year, and the beauty of, like, I know something. Get out of here, you young whippersnapper. Go live. I know. I've lived. It's not about you don't know anything. It's because you don't know anything, everything is new. There's no way of figuring it out without just trying. And there's no way you can fail because you've learned something. So what you learn will often give you the tools from it happening again or not. I don't know. These are all kind of just theories. However, the beauty in feeling like, yeah, I know something. And, you would meet, sometimes when we meet like an 80-year-old and they just don't care, I find that freedom beautiful. Like they don't care. They'll just yell at you for walking on their lawn, or they're really nice because they know like it doesn't, life goes on. I've found a beauty in that. Yeah, they paid their dues. Yeah, and enjoyed life. They enjoyed life and enjoying life, whatever year. If you are 86 or 26, if you're 38 or 58, just enjoying that moment because it's that one moment. And I appreciate every day, and I appreciate compounding on what I know, and being able to say, yeah, you've learned, you're going. There's a beauty in that. And what up, New York? Where are you in the city? You know, I lived in New York. We don't need to talk about that. But what's up, Gary? I know, are you having thunderstorms right now? It's probably thunderstorm time. So that's a little, the Bronx. Okay, okay. My sister stayed in Inwood, so she was right up there. I know exactly where you're at. And there was this Thai restaurant me and my sister used to go eat at in the Bronx. Yeah, right above Inwood. It was delicious. But here's the thing. I like spicy food, but I know my limit. And this is also a thing as every year I learn. I can usually I request my food to be spicy. And I learned not to always do that. Sometimes just to savor the deliciousness of the flavors. I don't have to have the spice because then my stomach doesn't feel good. Oh, yeah, you know what? I have my niece's father lives on Pelham Parkway, so I know exactly where this is. Yeah. I would take the 6 train to go to his home. So I know exactly where that is. Oh, that brings up a cool story. So I was a flight attendant for 15 years. And I'm not really, I station myself at different places at different times. During the summer, as I shared, because I live in Hawaii, during the summer, I'm usually on the mainland and visiting my family, and I base myself. Sure, but no one knows that. No one knows that unless you know. For anyone who is in this room, unless they've been there, they don't know. However, Faye, remember that Thai restaurant, and I got the red Thai curry, and it did not feel good the next day. What was that restaurant? Wasn't that? You gotta hurry up. I'm asking my sister who's in the live because she was with me, and it's where I would get. I remember one time, not the one by your place now. It was further up. It was further up. It was a Thai place, and I got the red Thai, and I got it too spicy, and then I was too spicy the next day. It was terrible. And I don't even think I ate red curry for like 6 months after. But yeah, I mean, there's Thai restaurants everywhere. However, there was a specific restaurant. Thank you, Gary. Thank you. Thank you. So I remember it was cold. And I was still in London, so I was back in the U.S. And me and my friend were going to the Bahamas. And we invited another flight attendant friend. Because flight attendants like, well, hey, you want to go to Bangladesh tomorrow? Yeah, I'll get the day off. And we'll just fly and meet. it's a wonderful life. So there was this other flight attendant. Me and the other girl were based in London. So we flew from London to New York. And here's the thing: right when you get on the flight, or this is how it used to be, disclaimer, I don't know, I'm retired. But when I used to fly, as soon as we got on and they knew we were flight attendants, your tray table always has alcohol. Thus why I no longer drink alcohol. However, it was delicious. And we got on and they'll just start bringing you champagne. And then we had, we drank so much. We drank so much. And being intoxicated in the air can be really cool or like extremely nauseating. So we were in the business class of the 777. Like, hey, hi, girl, and drinking our champagne and wine, and we drank a lot. So much so, I don't ever sleep on flights, and I slept on that flight. So when we woke up, we were in, maybe we took British Airways. I think we took British Airways into JFK. So when we landed, we woke up, but we were still intoxicated, and we went into the arrivals hall because we were going to stay a night or two in New York a couple nights before we flew to Nassau. And this was several years ago, over 10 years ago. When we got to the arrivals hall, I was still intoxicated. So she had grabbed her bag and stumbled off, and I was like, where's my friend? I went up to some security guard in the arrivals hall and asked them, like, have you seen my friend? I lost my friend. They were like, this girl is nuts. So we were still intoxicated, and she finally came out of passport control. So we went to stay with my sister because, again, we came to New York. We were going to get our nails done and our pedicures and all the stuff you do before you go on holiday. And our other friend was going to fly in to come with us to the Bahamas. So it would have been 3 girls, 3 flight attendants. So me and my friend, we go stay with my sister. We go get manicures, and we meet up with a friend of mine who is a entertainment lawyer and in music. I don't know. He did something. And he was going to something. It kind of all blends in. It was some popular event of some sort, but didn't matter. I guess it did. So we got our nails done, and then our friend was like, hey, come have dinner with us, and then we're going to this party, which was cool. So we went to this party, and I still have pictures of me on some bar. This is, I used to love doing, and I shared this with someone at the events that I went to the other day. I used to love doing the moonwalk when I was intoxicated. Like, I would jump up on the bar. That was quite fun. And I think I did that. And it was a good time. And my friend met, and you're yelling like, this is so much cool. I'm going to the Bahamas. You're yelling in people's ear. I don't miss that. But it was fun. It was some music industry event. So our other friend meets us. She flies in. I think she was in Charlotte. Me and my friend live in London. We flew over. We're in New York. The girl from Charlotte comes. But her boyfriend did not want her to go. Her boyfriend did not want her to be in the Bahamas with me and my friend. And actually, I don't even think it was her boyfriend. I don't even know why this was an issue. I've never had this issue. I've never had anyone, let alone a man, say where I can't go. You can't tell me where I can't go. you just can't. So he actually stole her passport. So before she left to come see us in New York, he went in her flight bag, because flight attendants have their roller bag and then their flight bag, which would have your passport and your keys. He took her passport out. She didn't know. She was like, bye, I'm going to New York to meet up with my friends and we're going to the Bahamas. And he was like, you think you are? So the next day, when it was time to go to the airport, and again, this is an ongoing, there's been no sober times since we landed, since we left. We're just drinking alcohol these entire days. Well, not, it's in a nice, classy way, you know. It doesn't matter. So we get to the airport, or before we left, she said, I can't find my passport. She couldn't find her passport. Okay. The guy probably took it, which he did. He sent a message like, you thought you were going somewhere. You're not. And I said, bye, because that's too bad that happened to you. However, our flight is leaving, so bye. So we got on the flight, and again started drinking until we landed in Nassau. And that was a great time. That was a really great trip. Yeah, the girl never ended up going because her man took the passport. So that was bold. I guess sometimes you just need to make a bold, desperate move. Either way, I don't know how I got to that story. I believe it came something from, when Gary was talking about the Thai restaurant. And my sister still never replied about the Thai restaurant that was way too hot. Either way. And tonight, because I always make my parents, they don't always eat it. They like stuff that is simple. However, I'm making ceviche, and I'm excited about it. Yeah. So that was it with the Bronx and something else. And the book. What's up, Alfred Newman? What's up, what's up, what's up? Thank you for the saying beautiful spirit. That is lovely. It appears I'm going to read for you because I was showcasing there's a lot of great restaurants there. Thank you, Gary. This is a book I checked out from the library, and I bookmarked this essay about Picasso and Walt Disney and Room for Nature in the Modern World. Oh, I was talking about that because I did the hike to the Hollywood sign. And, my opinion, I wasn't impressed. Not impressed with the sign. That's fine. I loved the uphill hike. It was the terrain. Because I love being outside, and I love the trees and the vegetation. The hike is still beautiful. The terrain is just different, and I can appreciate the terrain. It was a great workout for the booty. It is all uphill and lots of incline because it's in the hills. I recommend it completely. It's fun. There's shade. You get to see some cool houses-ish. It's worth it. So the hike to the Hollywood sign, that's what I'm talking about. And I thought of that because it said Room for Nature in the Modern World. And there was a lot of that on the hike. There was that element of nature. Occasionally you would go through a patch of trees or an area that wasn't designated to residential, and then be back in the residential area and see the homes that have a view of the city or of the fog. and then go back through the different terrain, the different soils. It was still a patch of nature within the city, the inner city, and I appreciated it. And I was just happy to do a hike. I love a hike. If you offer a hike, it's an immediate yes. And I remember my same friend that went with me to the Bahamas. I remember I had saw a friend of mine, cute guy, slightly older than me, and he traveled as much as me, which was really cool. How did I know him? I knew him through one of my sisters, but I didn't really. He was the first person when I was flying that like asked me out. This is what I remember. It was an all-nighter to LA. So you come over in the morning, like the check-in in JFK would be probably 4:15 in the morning, and you take off at 5:15. So like that early flight, and then you land at 6 a.m. LA. So you lay over that entire day. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love hiking. I love hiking. That's wonderful. What hike in Chile? Please share. Please. Um, so yeah, you lay over that entire day from like whenever you land. So let's say you land at 7 in the morning and you'll take the midnight flight out. So you have that full day to lay over. And he was on my flight and he was cute which tech guy, and he maybe he gave me his card. I don't remember. I remember he was cool. I actually liked talking to him, which is always nice. And he was, I believe, the younger brother of my sister's friends that I used to go hang out with. Like I was the cool little sister. I could always talk and make people laugh, so they didn't mind having me around. And so, oh, that sounds amazing, to a Mayan city. I did something like that somewhere, somewhere. Thank you for sharing that, Doc. I loved that. I loved that. I love that. So anyway, this guy said, "Hey, you want to go hiking for our first date?" And I thought, "Of course, yeah, let's." And he said, "Let's go hiking on the coastal region in Santa Barbara." And I said, "Sure, this sounds perfect." And very cool person. We went to Trader Joe's right before because I flew in. I flew in and we met, I think we met in Santa Barbara. And then, listen, yeah, Gary, that's quite a hike. I understand that. That's great. That's a great workout. Good night. Uh, we went to Trader Joe's just to get some snacks because I'm all about it. You get your fruit and your granola bars, and I tend to munch on things often, like fruit or dried fruit. So I was throwing all of this stuff in the cart, and he was like, "Hope, what are you going to be like eating the entire hike?" And I thought, well, maybe. Okay. Well, once it's over and enough time has passed, you will be right back on the trails, Alfred. So he suggested this hike outside of Santa Barbara on the coastal range. And I remember telling my friend, and she was like, "A hike outside? What kind of date is that?" And I said, "Well, the date is for me. It's not for you. If you don't get it, that's perfectly fine. However, I am quite excited about this. I am quite excited about the date hiking, and it was a cool hike. It was a great hike. After the hike, I think we watched the sunset. It was cool. And then I remember he tried to kiss me, or maybe he did, and it was really sloppy and wet. And I was like, I don't want to kiss you again. And pretty much once I make my mind up from that, I mean, the reality is kissing's important. So this will not be surpassing pass go. And that was the hiking date on the coastal range in Santa Barbara, which now that friend loves the Alfred, it's the truth. I mean, here's the thing. Some things are undeniable, possibly coachable, but I would not say, oh, we can work through this, especially at 22. No, I'm 22. Like, I have my entire life. I don't need to patch together something that means something to me. And bad kissing, that means someone hasn't communicated. I don't know what it means. All I know is I'm doing fantastic. Cassius, love, Cassius. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. So I am still planning to read this because, as Ye said, Pablo Picasso is dead. Walt Disney is dead. We have 100 years here, which is true. What are you planning to do? So I am going to read this, and I'm going to pin what I'm reading just in case anyone comes in and is wondering. I am reading from Creators, Paul Johnson. Picasso and Walt Disney. Here, let's see. I'll read it like this. Room for nature in a modern world? It's a question. The 20th century saw a transformation of our visual experiences comparable to the blossoming of the Renaissance in the 15th century. We saw many more things and saw them differently, both because they were different and because events and artists accustomed us to look with different eyes. Whether this process was benign or a malevolent, creative or destructive, or a mixture of both, only the long evolving judgment of history will determine it. I love reading out loud, and I hope this out loud reading is pleasing. Okay, so where were we? It was certainly both exciting and disturbing. Much of the altered vision was due to technological change, especially the coming of cinema, television, videos, and digital cameras, and the rapidity with which all were made accessible to humanity everywhere. But these visual revolutions were compounded by artists who destroyed the tradition of naturalism, which had dominated the visual arts, and replaced it as the prime source of beauty, with the expression of what was going on in their own minds. The interplay between the new technologies and the new individualism created a third element of visual change. In the 20th century, then, new experiences for our eyes were the product of both relentlessness and personal forces frog marching humanity forward, and of powerful, creative individuals striving to wrest control of change in order to realize their personal ways of seeing things. Amongst this last group, none were more successful than Pablo Picasso, 1881 to 1973, and Walt Disney, 1901 to 1966. Here's the thing. A lot of times when individuals think of Pablo Picasso, they're thinking he was like 100 years away. Pablo Picasso transitioned in 73. 73. That's only 50 years ago. These people were around in this time, and it seems so far off. Even Walt Disney, it seems like he was like not millennia away, but more than 60 years ago, he was still alive. Or maybe that's just for me. A comparison of the two is instructive. Picasso, turn page. Picasso, decades before Disney had and outlived him by a few years, but both were essentially men of the 20th century, outstanding creative individuals first and foremost, but also representative figures. Each embraced novelty with shattering enthusiasm. But there were essential differences. Picasso came from Andalusia, on the periphery of the culture of old Europe. Paris gave his ideas the resonance and the critical and commercial success that enabled him to carry through his revolution in art. No other center could have done this. And I agree. As one who's lived in Paris, I can completely understand how the city can fuel your art. Could have done this. And it should be added that Picasso's successful charge against representative art was the last absolute victory Paris enjoyed in leading cultural fashion. Okay, thank you, Alfred. Thank you. That's a notable statement, though. If there's any questions or feedback as I read, or take some notes, or if you say, hey, read that line again, that was notable, please do, because I will set it up differently next time. But I am reading from this, and I take a lot of notes, so enjoy. Okay, I will continue. Right. If Picasso created shocking novelties, he did so in a traditional old world manner, in an artist studio, and in the familiar capital of art. Disney, on the other hand, was the New World, a Midwesterner from an agricultural background who eagerly embraced both America's entrepreneurial effervescence and the new technologies leaping ahead of popular taste. Please continue to like the live. Okay, so with that, what I noticed, especially while living in Europe, entrepreneurship is always exalted within the U.S. That is a trait that's central to the U.S. because entrepreneurialism isn't really pushed throughout Europe. It's not even the way of the structure. However, there's an element of that fictitious story of the American dream. And I would just say of the dream. however you see it, can be put together and built here. And this is what this brings to mind when I'm reading about Disney, because there's that effervescence, like, come to as you should. This is fantastic, Alfred, thank you. You can come, you can build a new life, you can come here, and that is, there's the element of truth with that. There's very few places you can go and just land and buy some waters and sell them on the corner. Like, the U.S. encourages just the essence of making money. Without it's always encouraged. Entrepreneurship is encouraged in a way that isn't outside of the country. That's what I just thought of when I read that. Okay, back to the book, and I will show it. Okay, and I'm reading about Picasso and Walt Disney, Room for Nature in a Modern World. And we carry on. He went from the open spaces of Hollywood, not so much a place as a concept. Even that I love. Hollywood isn't really a place, it's a concept. And I think because I had always gone to LA, I knew that concept is like what you see on TV. It's not what it actually is. It's not what it actually is. I love this passage of Hollywood, not so much of a place, but as a concept, a place where I can build these stories, a place where I can create these movies that will live forever. Where else would you do that but Hollywood? On the big stage. Like, I see it. I see it, Walt Disney. I see it. When he was born, it did not yet exist. During his lifetime, it became the global capital of the popular arts, thanks in part to his creativity. He made use of the new technologies throughout his creative life. What's up, Nikki Styled You? Good to see you, girl. What's up? Okay, let's see. He made use of the new technologies throughout his creative life. Just as Picasso exploited the old artistic disciplines of paint, pencil, modeling, and printing to produce the new. When I read that, what I think of is an artist taking what they've seen or past art and creating what's for them. There's always an element of influence, which is beautiful. Everything is influenced by something. That's not a bad thing to have influence of anything. I don't really see anything in good or bad. That's a morality thing, and that's not how I see life. However, understanding that it all exists. To me, it's not one or the other. It's not, oh, I love old art, I don't like new art. No, it's all influenced by each other in some way, and that's a part of it. Okay, old artists and paint. Paris and Hollywood. No two places could be more unlike. Yet, no two are so similar in the mixture of eagerness and cynicism with which they nurtured creativity, both vulgar and sublime, which is beautiful. I can say from both. I did not live in LA. However, I've had a lot of beautiful experiences in LA and Paris, and they are both very creative spaces. LA, you have the sun, you have the ocean, you have the mountains, you have the city, you have the traffic. While I was there, I had shown another creator the things that I remember about LA and that I love in LA. And it was a reminder to me, like, you know it. Don't, just because I don't feel like I'm that expert doesn't mean someone will not benefit from what I currently know. And I showed the creator my favorite donut shop. I love donuts. I do. I love a maple bar, which is central to the fried California donut styles. And I took this creator to this, said, you know, you got to get a hot donut in the morning and sit in the donut shop and eat it, like, just chill. Californians aren't really known as fast moving people. I don't, but maybe they are. I don't know. But that element of there's like a coolness factor or a relaxed factor. And you just have everything in LA. And there's a beauty in it. However, yes, the donut place, the Beverly Hills sign, Sunset, all of these typical landmarks, the Capitol Records building, Manhattan Beach, and you have Huntington Beach and the other one. All of these things I know because that's where I would go. That's where we would lay over, or I would go with my family or my friends. So I felt inspired that I could show someone who had never been to LA landmarks and do a little explaining as well. And I realized it's not for me. There's nothing, and there was a short time where I thought I wanted to live in LA, and I've always had the chance to, even with the airline. It's just not me. Well, the Village in New York is the Village. That's the Village. It has a certain feeling. The Village is not LA. The feeling is a lot different, and the Village has its own character. Yes, I am. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. I appreciate that, Johnny. So, when I came back to my parents, I was like, Mom, I can tell you one thing. LA is not it for me ever. If I'm always open. Maybe I'll feel something different. No, I'm not I'm pretty intentional. And no. So there. However, back to reading. Okay. Yes, so LA and Paris, very creative. I don't have a love-hate relationship with Paris. Paris is just Paris. It always has a space within my heart and spirit and soul. And I have far more times in Paris because there were years in Paris. Paris is just, it is Paris. Yes, I will. Thank you, Alfred. However, it is artistic. The buildings, the graffiti. Paris is rough. Paris is a rough space, similar to maybe New York. It's a real city. There's somewhat of a it has its own element. It has its own element, as does every city. However, I love how in this book he brought that out and said that both cities carry that element. Okay, where was I? It is also notable that both men played roles in the tremendous and horrific ideolo- ideological battles which characterized the 20th century at opposite poles of the axis of ideas. And the influence of both continues in the 21st century, powerfully and persistently raising a question which has been, which is more potent. Picasso was born in Malaga on the Mediterranean coast of Andalusia, where his father was an art teacher and artist, specializing in birds but fascinated by bullfighting. Wow. I love how that was explained. What a unique way to explain a person by saying they loved bullfighting. I love it. I love it. The family moved first to La Coruña in the northeast, then to Barcelona, capital of the most economically advanced and culturally enterprising province of Spain, Catalonia. His father continued to teach him until he was 14. And then he put in some time at Lolonja, Barcelona's excellent fine arts school, before setting up his own as a teenage artist. So as a teenage artist, he set up his own art school. This is what this is saying? This already shows that intuitiveness of this is what I love, this is what I'm great at. I am going to hone this skill. Imagine someone thinking that at 14, you have the idea to start up your own art school. Your peers would say, "Are you stupid? What? Why would you?" No, I'm doing this, and this is what he did. I love this. Okay. Before setting up his own as a teenage artist, he was essentially self-taught, self-directed, self-promoted, emotionally educated in the teeming brothels of the city, a small but powerfully built monster of assured egoism. Continue to like the live like and share. I'm going to continue to read this. It's not too long. I believe it's only, let's see, 57, like 10 pages every essay. Or I may break it up, but I prefer to finish it all, no matter how long it takes. All right. He lacked the benefit. He lacked the benefit, though, also of the inhibitions of full academic training. And if his drawing is sometimes weak in consequence, one of the myths most consistently spread about Picasso is that he was a superb draftsman. He was exceptionally skillful from an early age at exploiting his many and ingenious artistic ideas. He always kept a sharp eye on the market and always knew what would sell. He disposed of drawings from the age of 9 on, and through his output became and remained throughout his long life, remained prodigious throughout his long life. He had never any difficulty in marketing. So he marketed himself because he would not continue to create unless it was good enough to finish. So imagine only doing things to that level. Like, what would that look like in our life now? What's up, Chris? What would that look like for you now if you just decided to only create your best. And if it wasn't up to your best, you're throwing it away. How would you look at things? How would you go about selecting what you do? Question to ask yourself. Question to ask yourself. Let's see. Let me change this so I can actually, people can see the book that I'm reading. That may be helpful. Okay. All right. Picasso seemed to have grasped quite early on that he would not get to the top of the field in the conventional painting from nature. In Barcelona, the competition was severe. In particular, he was right up against perhaps the greatest of modern Spanish painters, Ramon Casas Carbo, 15 years his senior and far more accomplished in traditional skills. Taught in Carlos Duran's atelier, Casas oscillated between Barcelona and Paris, sharing for a time the famous studio above the dance hall of the Moulin de la Galette. In 1890, following in the footsteps of Renoir and Toulouse-Lautrec, but excelling both, he painted a superb, sombre picture of this hall. His most important pictures were striking pieces of social realism, such as the Guillotine and a painting of a street riot, The Charge. At one time, the young Picasso thought of entering the field, but Casas had preempted it. Casas was also of entering this field, but Casas had preempted it. Casas was also a draftsman on the level of Ingres and a portrait artist. What is this? Portraitist of uncommon ability. He not only befriended Picasso, but produced in 1901 the most beautiful and accurate drawing of him. Casas' superb full-length charcoal portraits of people in Barcelona inspired Picasso at age 18 to do a similar series, which he exhibited in his first one-man show at the place where advanced artists known as modernistas gathered. El Cuatro Gats. There were 135 other drawings and paintings in the show. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I didn't know all of this. This is why I love reading. And there's the beautiful element of a creation or a creator inspiring you and maybe even pushing you towards areas that you were unaware of. And when I was in LA this few days ago and meeting all of these different creatives, it was inspiring. It was inspiring to see other creatives, creators, artists, humans that create whatever you label it, who are choosing to say yes to what they choose to create. And how freeing that may be, and how freeing that is, and how that's an element of healing. And I'm inspired in this way, as Picasso was inspired, however, maybe doubting himself, because this other artist was
known and what that means to even feel that and even say, yeah, and they're doing exactly what they came here to do. Whatever someone produces is for them to produce. It has nothing to do with me or lacking in me. My thing is to be the best me and for them to be the best them. And there's that's how it's supposed to be. There's enough for everyone. Because someone is successful does not take away from another person in any way. And seeing it that way and how freeing that is to recognize that what's for you is for you. What's for someone else is for them. And it doesn't take away. It only adds. Once you win, we all win. Or that's how I see it. I haven't read on live before, and I did. What? Tell me what you thought of that. That is why I come on, because I don't really have a thing that I follow. I just go. However, that was cool. It was cool. Maybe I will just read passages out of the books that I'm reading. And I have a juice. I make juice for my family in the morning because I'm big on my skincare and I love watermelon juice. So I cut the watermelon, the inside, the fruit part, the pink part, and I juice that. But then I juice the rind, which is hydrating and there's additional nutrients that are located in the rind, which is fantastic for you. So I have some of that here. This is the cold pressed watermelon rind juice. I have them separate. So I have my just pure watermelon juice, and then I have my green juice, the watermelon rind, which is great. And when it is warm, finding ways to hydrate in addition to water, it's just utilized in the body differently. It's not better or worse. However, I feel good. I feel good when I drink it, and it really keeps the hydration in my skin. Because I also found out something else, and this is the greatest thing with aging, which often has a negative connotation. But I understand if you don't like your life, why would you want to? Anyway, when I was traveling, or I'm still traveling, it's not, hey, no, I'm not. I'm in California currently. Yes, I do it, Nikki. So this is the white part of the watermelon and the rind. So I use every part. And then even the part that comes out of the cold pressed juicer, I put that in the freezer. I believe I'm going to use it. Thank you. I know. It's so good for you. I'm going to use it in something. I'm going to find something. Or I'm going to start a compost pile. And, Nikki, before I was using like a carrot peeler to peel off the rind, blending it, putting it through a strainer, and just taking the direct shots from the watermelon rind. I would give my mom one on an empty stomach. As soon as you get up, I said, come here, before you eat anything, put this. I just throw the food on the dirt. I don't know if there's anything else to do. I just take like the food and put it on the dirt and say that's the compost. If there's something else I'm supposed to do, then I would probably need to do that. Because I just say these are the scraps and I put it in the dirt. That's it. A lot of stuff I learned to utilize, like the stuff from the cold pressed rind. I'm gonna put those into ice cubes, so it'll just add color to a drink of water and you'll get the extra. Same thing with the watermelon. Just put the watermelon and fill it up with the watermelon juice, and it's like the ice cube. And so then everything, when someone wants it, I will take the watermelon ice cubes, which are the remains of the watermelon once it's gone through the cold press, put into ice trays. I fill that with the watermelon juice, freeze that. So when you have the watermelon juice, you have watermelon ice cubes. And yeah, and then everything's used. The rind, freeze the rind and put it in smoothies. So I find a way to use everything, and it just helps with my skin. And these whippersnappers, yeah. Yes, 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 Andrew. Nice to see you. Pleasure, pleasure. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Nikki. What else? I said I'm making ceviche because my mom had bought some beautiful rockfish. Thank you, Andrew. I love you too, Lee. She bought some rockfish and she said, "Girl, fry me some fish." I said, "Mom, you're compromising. Thank you. Please continue to like the live. Continue to like the live. Let's get the lives up just a bit more. Tap the screen." I said, "Mom, since you're compromising the integrity of the fish, this is a lovely fillet of fish. You don't just fry this. It's a lovely fillet of fish." "Girl, I want it fried. I want it fried. I want it fried." I said, "Okay, Mom. All right." So I did my rendition of fried. I kept it really easy because fish is easy, especially good fresh fish. You don't need to do too much. So I defrosted it. This was rockfish, just easy. I had a little garlic butter that I had used, put that on both sides, salt and pepper, panko breadcrumbs, and seared it on each side. So it looked fried, but the inside was still raw. And then I put it into the oven to fully cook it. But she had that nice crispy out layer, that layer outside from the sear. Yeah, Andrew. Um, and then I served that. I think she just wanted fries, and I made some garlic knots. So I still presented my mom with her. Yes, thank you. With her fish, but it wasn't like fried, hard fried. No, it was a nice pan fry, breadcrumbs, garlic butter, salt, pepper, both sides, finished. Oh, this is what I finished with. This is my new favorite condiment, hot honey. I love hot honey. I love hot honey on everything. Everything. The last time before I left and went to Texas and LA, me and my sister made some hot honey. She was like, "How hot can you make it?" And I said, "Well, it doesn't matter because the spice element will be cut by that sweet element. That's the best thing about it." And hey, I'm drinking my green drink and I'm fantastic. Thank you, Jessica. Nice to see you. So she had some honey and she put, I think, 2 or 3 serranos, because you can put whatever pepper you want in your hot honey. The thing is, it's sweet. So you're not going to feel that heat element the same that you would feel with a hot sauce, because that sugar cuts it, which I love. So my sister had made some hot honey. I made some while I was in Texas. Yes, it's so easy to make. You can even use red pepper flakes if you would like. However, I like the element of the fresh pepper. Just put your thing of honey on in a pot, let it come to a boil, put your chilies in, and then let it cool. And my sister left the chilies in. She didn't strain it because it will gain in intensity with the heat. Yeah, or you could do that as well. Yeah, as long as you have it. So, yeah, it's so easy. Please tell me how delicious it is. So she had made some hot honey. So the rockfish that I pan-seared on both sides for my mom with just some garlic butter brushed on, salt and pepper. Sure, you could do it with anything. You can do everything with anything. You can do it with maple syrup. You can do it with molasses. You can do it with anything. There's no wrong way. And now I will probably go and try it with everything. Hot peanut butter, like chili peanut butter, that probably could be good too. So I finished the fish with that hot honey. I drizzled the hot honey on my mom's fish and then just a fresh lemon down the fillet. And I tasted it. I almost ate most of it. I said, this is delicious. So hot honey on everything. Then my mom makes a really delicious, thank you, Jessica. I will. Same to you. Many blessings. Yeah, it was so good. My mom makes a really good mushroom pasta because I like my mushrooms sliced thick so there's a texture to them. And she makes a great cream sauce, and she knows how to properly make pasta where it's al dente. It's not like soggy. And I took that and I put some of the hot honey on top of that mushroom pasta. And then I put some of the hot honey on something else. I put the hot honey on everything. So I'm making ceviche, rockfish ceviche for me and my sister tonight. And I'm going to put some hot honey on the ceviche tonight. Or, yeah, I'm definitely going to use some hot honey. Hot honey makes everything taste good. I made a dressing and I just put the hot honey in the dressing. Oh my gosh, it's the best. It's the best. I love it. What did I do before hot honey? So hot honey. It's easy to make, or you can buy it. Take some honey, throw in a bunch of red pepper flakes, or if you want to go a step further, jalapeno isn't hot enough. You can even do bird's eye chilies, the red chilies, serrano, because it's contained in sweet honey, so you're never going to feel that burn. However, try it and put it on everything. I did some hot honey tofu. I mean, hot honey. It would probably be great in like a cocktail too. Yeah. Even that, because you're still not going to have that intense burn. It'll be hot, but it wouldn't be the same as biting into that scorpion pepper. It wouldn't be as bad. Make some. Tell me. I want to try it. So, now I have to go make the ceviche. I don't know where my sister is. Sometimes we're supposed to eat together, I think. So I like to have it done before I take my walk. And then my night swim. And my sister will say, if you come on a walk with me, I'm walking. Like, I'm swinging my arms. The thing is, if I'm doing the same movement, I might as well put everything into each movement. If I'm walking, I'm not just gingerly walking. No, I'm doing a full walk, swinging my arms, really intentionally gaining everything I can out of every movement, because why not? And then I do some laps in the evening in the pool. And that's the completion of the day. This is family time. So I just uploaded probably 6 or 7 of my lives up onto my YouTube page, which is Hope is Speaking. So anytime I come on, I just come on when I feel like it. I don't have a set time. Therefore, if you miss it, go to my YouTube page at Hope is Speaking, and my lives are all under my daily TikTok lives. And there's so much blessings for us all. And I love how the sun is just, this is a good look. This is a good look. Maybe this is kind of the setup. I will be traveling again this week. You will see. So, Be the reflection of love, because we all come from an infinite source of love, especially you, Nikki. Show up. I showed up. We show up. When we show up, we make it look good. Get your lighting good. Sit in front of the window. Let the sun hit you. Enunciate. Invest. Invest in yourself. And I heard someone over this time when I was with the creators in LA. One of the creators had said to me, you know, and I'm spending all this. I said, no. You're investing in yourself. That sheer change of knowing the investment is going into you. Shift that element into, this is for me. This is aiding me. This is adding to me. Just that shift. And knowing that you're exactly daily deposits, you're worthy of it. You don't have to justify it. It's if something like money will quickly allow you to say, I don't deserve this. Yes, you do. It's your investment in yourself. Break out of that. You don't. It's for you. It's for you. And so with that, I am thankful for today. I'm just thankful for this moment. I really am. I'm excited. I'm excited again when all of the hopefuls come into the lives. So, tell me what you think about the mic setup. Can you hear me better? Am I enunciating better? Is this something I should be doing more of? Do you want to hear more about the deal breakers? Because earlier I talked about the guy who lost his chance because he couldn't kiss, and there's no way I will continue that. Let me know if that's helpful. Thank you, Nikki. All right, okay. I appreciate you then. I appreciate you. Yeah, you missed that. We'll talk about that again sometime. But there's some deal breakers that just shouldn't be broken, and if you don't kiss well, that's good for me to be able to say no. Okay? Therefore, show up, make it look good. Be the feeling of love, feel love, and kiss well. Kiss well, like it's a skill. You can just kiss yourself, but kiss well. That's what I'm closing with. I love y'all. Ciao. Bye.